It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly media roundup, 5:45 Live. I'm Roland Boyden.
And I'm Kia Bailey. On deck tonight, more progress for the skate park at this week's DRB meeting. Select Board approves a hotly debated NEA grant, and fugitives of a New York prison on the run in Vermont remain at large.
All that and more, and we'll do it in just 15 minutes or even a little bit less. So if you've got the time and the attention span, stick with us right here on 5:45 Live.
Aristotle said, "The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead." Get out there, be active, be involved, and most of all, be educated.
Welcome back to this June 19th, 2015 edition of 5:45 Live. That's a look back to last year's BUHS graduation as we get ready to count down the minutes here for you. And if you're watching this live on BCTV Comcast Channel 8 at 5:45 p.m., you're just half an hour away from BUHS graduation. In all honesty, we're actually pre-taping this edition here so that you don't have to book it downtown to throw your graduation gown on and head in. So at the time that BCTV viewers are watching this, you're getting ready to march down the field at Nantwich Field, and I'm getting ready to cram in a 105-degree press box booth for the directing of BCTV's live 5-camera coverage. But if you do want to stick with us through this 15 minutes, then it's just a quick 15-minute wait until 6:15 when BCTV coverage starts. We'll get you the band performances, and then at 6:30 it all kicks off right here on BCTV, just 2 clicks up the dial on our Government and Education sister channel, Channel 10. And then tomorrow, Saturday, we head back out in the field first thing in the morning to pick up Leland and Gray graduation, which we'll record there and replay a little bit later in the week and post. All this stuff will go up at youtube.com/BrattleboroTV and BrattleboroTV.org. All right, that's enough shameless graduation promotion when we have so many headlines to get into. Let's launch right in here, and for that, I'll turn it back over to you, Kia.
2 convicted murderers who escaped from a New York prison on June 6th could be anywhere, according to authorities. With over 800 leads on the case, Richard Matt and David Sweat are rumored to be any number of places, including Mexico, still in New York, or even Vermont. Hundreds of law enforcement officers are part of the search, but it seems to have gone cold. Joyce Mitchell, an employee at the prison who helped the 2 escape, says she knows nothing of their whereabouts, but officials are unclear whether or not she's holding back information. Some sources claim that the 2 escapees were planning on murdering Mitchell's husband and going to a Vermont cabin, but the leads do not seem to be going anywhere.
All right, and with that, time to launch into some more local headlines here on 5:45 Live. The Development Review Board met on Monday night, leading to a 5-2 vote in favor of approving the site plan for the skate park. The 65,000 square foot park will be located at Living Memorial Park alongside an 8,000 square foot dog park. Now, this approval comes with some conditions, including the requirement that the town's sound ordinance is obeyed and stormwater runoff is not increased. Now, with this approval, the skate park's design will soon be finalized by its supporters before the funding for the project continues.
The way that things would be designed, would be the whole next phase of this project. Okay. So before we invested in going through that design phase, we wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to get through the permitting phase.
Sure.
So that was the intention in working with the planning department to get preliminary proposal on the table here before you.
Brattleboro received a $50,000 NEA Our Town grant 3 years ago and will finally be moving on to the third and final portion of the project. With the first 2 phases complete, the plan now is to create a public art project, piece, or performance. Some uncertainty came a few weeks ago when the initial proposal was met with skepticism from the Select Board, but there has been a turnaround in attitude and productivity that has led to the Select Board giving the go-ahead. Next steps include requesting proposals from local artists about their ideas for an art installation, appointing a screening committee, and doing more fundraising. The project should be completed by July of next year.
For more, we take a look now at this week's regularly scheduled Select Board meeting, which happened this past Tuesday. Among the camera coverage there, we had 3 BCTV camera operators and BCTV content manager Jeff Mastriani up in the booth to gather footage of this heated debate over this NEA Our Town grant. Let's take a look back now.
One of the things that was really important that came from the artists who participated in the formation of this plan, from what they've seen elsewhere and what they believe to be fair and proper in this kind of a competition, is that the committee that does the initial screening should be different from the committee that does the final selection. So both of those decisions ultimately will rest with the select board, but you will receive advice from your appointees to participate first in the screening of the interest of the artists, to define a group of finalists who will then bring forward full-blown proposals.
All right, now speaking of things going on around Brattleboro, a beleaguered Department of Public Works has seen a number of things happen around town that's forced their attention, from bridge projects to the Green Street retaining wall, which finally saw some progress as the street connecting the Green Street extension down to High Street, overlooking Harmony parking lot, has been closed for the better part of the winter, with structural stability on the retaining wall overlooking Harmony the source of that road closure. The town finally decided to put some capital money into going ahead after some VTrans grants to help with the project were denied. Now this VTrans denial extends all over town as well, including the Elliott Street bridge at the bottom of Union Hill and Elliott Street Junction, the bridge up to the SD Organ Museum there, which has been brought down to one lane after a hole was discovered on the southbound lane of that bridge. So that project remains in limbo. However, DPW has gotten to go ahead with a couple other projects around town, including some much needed work to the intersections of Cedar Street, Western Ave, and Union Hill, where they've put in a number of ADA ramps for compliancy, as well as extended the crosswalk areas to make it safer, including reducing what was an 80-foot span across the top of Union Hill, which has been brought down to a standard 2-lane span. For more, hardworking BCTV volunteer Maria Dominguez was out with members of DPW to take a look at the progress at that intersection.
Now we have a nice loamed and seated area with some erosion control mats, and we have the sidewalk done as well. As you can see, it's a really big change from what used to be here. The intersection is quite a bit narrower, and cars have to really slow down and make a really intentional turn down Union Hill. This makes a much safer crossing across Union Hill.
Moving on. Annette Cappy, the Brattleboro town clerk, has been driving up to Montpelier for the past 10 years to debate the voting day registration bill. She's always been in favor of passing this bill that would allow voters to register at the polls the day of the elections. A few weeks ago, Cappy stood beside Governor Shumlin as he signed the bill into law. She says it has been a long battle, but now that the bill has been passed, she hopes to see larger voter turnout numbers and an increased interest and participation in the democratic process.
Now, for more on the voting process in Brattleboro, we spoke with Annette Cappy before a previous election. Let's take a little 545 Live rewind in time into the vault. Here's Annette talking about the voting process in Brattleboro.
There have been plenty of times when, after hearing debate, realized, oh, there was a lot more to the story than I realized, and it has changed my vote. And I think that's important, that we listen to each other and accept others' ideas and vote for the good of the community.
And with that, it's time to launch into our BCTV video calendar. This is all sponsored by the Brattleboro Savings and Loan, as their generous contributions to BCTV each year help fund our weekly look at upcoming events, and this week is no exception, as we'll start by talking a little bit about graduation. Again, if you missed my whole spiel at the top of the broadcast here, get ready, because at 6:15, in just a few short minutes, if you're watching this live, BUHS graduation kicks off 2 clicks up the dial on our government education sister channel, Channel 10. You can watch it all live. It's going to start officially at 6:30, but there'll be some band performances and things kicking off at 6:15. And then we'll be headed out to Leland and Gray graduation to get that broadcast. That'll post later this weekend on BCTV's YouTube channel and show next Wednesday, again on BCTV Channel 10. All right, with that, time to move on in the calendar here. A few more items to look at, and for that, I'll turn it back over to you, Kia.
This weekend is Vermont's Celebrate Solar Weekend, which includes tours of solar systems throughout the state, including 3 tours occurring right here in Brattleboro. The tours are open to the public with an opportunity to view the systems and ask questions of owners and host farmers. The 3 locations in town include Brattleboro Community Solar Array from 9 to noon, a home at 46 Fairground Road from noon to 3, and Sunnyside Solar Store next to the Chelsea Royal Diner. More information about the solar sites and the events of the weekend can be found at brattleboro-summer.org.
All right, next up in the calendar, permaculture and ecological design workshops continue as part of Turning Point's Gratitude Project, a series of classes undertaken in conjunction with the local recovery centers move back into downtown, as throughout June and July, interested parties can partake in a full permaculture certification course and at the same time help prepare the new Turning Point for its September Permaculture Center grand opening. As members of the Gratitude Project will help construct new stormwater diversion infrastructure for the Recovery Center, as well as an edible forest garden and ecologically sound living room for the space. Now, for more, members of the project and the Recovery Center sat down with George Harvey and Tom Fennell last week as part of a special extra edition of their weekly series, Energy Week.
So in permaculture design, there's a 72-hour course. That's 72 hours of study. That is required, and then the other criteria are that you design your own personal project and you help design a group project.
Just a few things to wrap up here on 545 Live. Now, normally we check in with the weather courtesy of the high school's morning news advisory broadcast crew at BUHS TV, but they've closed up shop for the summer and perhaps forever. That's right, last week we entertained what could have been perhaps the series finale of BUHS TV as the media department merges in several new directions up at the high school. Kia, you've had a chance to be part of the BUHS TV crew for several rounds, several semesters up there as they put together live broadcasts 3 days a week. What I want to do right now is just take a little look back at some highlights of this past year at BUHS TV. Let's take a look.
Good morning, BUHS. I'm Max Strime.
And I'm Kia Bailey.
Hi, so I'm here today, a 3-day weekend, as you can see, forecast. It's March Reading Madness in the library. Check out the brackets on the library bulletin board and vote for your favorites.
And varsity boys lacrosse also plays Rutland home at 7 o'clock. Thank you, and back to the desk.
I can't really block out the numbers effectively, so you can kind of see the spoilers the rest of the week here. Sunday's gonna be great.
All right, that does it for another edition of 545 Live here. Thanks for checking in with us. We'll be back next week right here on BCTV Comcast Channel 8 at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Kia, thanks so much for joining me here all throughout this semester on 545 Live. It's certainly been a pleasure to have you as a co-host, co-writer of the script, co-editor, and just helping keep this thing on the tracks here. So in the meantime, we'll say adieu, but be sure to check in with us next week for another edition of 545 Live.